Hey everybody, I'm Mama Baird and welcome back to my channel. In today's video we have a special guest. This is my dad. We call him G-Pops around here.
Papa Baird.
Papa Baird, Grandpapa Baird.
Yeah, okay.
And I had a community post where you guys wanted to ask him some questions, and this is that video.
Cool.
So we're gonna
Shoot.
Yeah, we're gonna ask him some questions.
I'm ready.
Well, before we get to the questions, why don't you kind of do a generic history about yourself? Kind of.
My history?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay. I joined the Air Force the day I turned 17.
Go earlier.
Earlier?
Yeah.
I was born at a very young age.
Very young age.
Grew up on the beach in San Diego during the 60s and 70s. It was an incredible time to be alive. The music was great. The cars were the best. They're trying to do it again. They're bringing all the 70s stuff back. Sorry, kids, it was better the first time around. It really was. It was a very good place to be. A magical place that doesn't exist anymore, except the memories.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I was very, very fortunate.
So you grew up on the beach, on the water?
Yeah, I grew up in San Diego, so, yeah, the beach, we went to the beach all the time.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd even go surfing before school.
Wow.
If I got up at the, what I called the butt crack of dawn.
Yep.
And, yeah. If I take the bus down, quarter back. Yeah.
A lot of dedication.
Yeah. I
What was
wasn't
your-
very good, but I loved it.
Was that where you felt relaxed and you felt like?
Oh, I love the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, anywhere there's a water-air interface.
Yeah. I get
for
that.
it. Yeah.
I feel that. That must
It's
be where I
lakes.
get it from. Yeah.
It's lakes now, but it doesn't matter. Any water.
Yeah. Yeah. You live by a lake now. Yeah. Just everyone's
Yeah, the
living
rumor
up there.
has it, I never had a photo to show this, but supposedly I had problems with my legs when I was born, and they taught me to swim to strengthen my legs.
Oh.
So I was swimming literally before I was one.
Well, awesome.
Yeah.
That's
And
great.
so, and I never had braces or anything that I
I don't
remember.
think I ever
so,
knew that, Dad.
so I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, I'd never found any verification of that, but I've seen pictures of me swimming when I was real little.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you did.
Yeah.
You were swimming so early, people think you were drowning.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they'd always try to dive in and get her. I'd have to say, I think she's all right.
Yeah.
She's all right.
Mom says the same thing. That she's drowning now. She's swimming.
Yeah, she's staying on the top.
Yeah. And then you went to the Air Force.
Yeah, went in the Air Force. I was an aircraft mechanic at first, and then I got into computers and worked on the AWACS planes and the computers.
Was that when computers were more new? Like, and there was a lot of new development in there? Or
Oh,
if they've
yes.
been, yeah.
Oh, and of course, and these were all militarized and very specific.
Ah.
Lately, they've gone to what they call commercial off the shelf. They're using more parts that you can buy.
Uh-huh.
But back then, it was all military had its own systems.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a lot more expensive that way.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Were you able to use that same information when you got out of the military and got civilian
it
jobs?
carried me the whole way.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was the best decision of my life to go into the Air Force.
How long did you spend in there?
Well, I was actually active duty 11 years, but I spent 11 years working for them.
Okay.
In contractor positions and stuff. So I always say 22. 11 in, 11 for. Because I was doing the weapons development or the training or
I mean, that makes sense.
whatever. Yeah. I've had quite a few positions. I've been quite blessed.
Awesome.
It's a fun job.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I don't think you weren't in it when we lived in Saudi Arabia, right? You were
Saudi-
out of it.
No, Saudi Arabia, I worked on the AWACS.
Okay.
The Saudi AWACS. That's what I was there for.
Okay.
And I attempted to, I taught the Saudi guys how to do things.
I didn't know if that was still counted as the military if you were still in the military at that time. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, because I was working for the Saudi military.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I thought you retired after.
I've actually worked for 3 countries, if you want to say it that way: the United States and NATO, which is not one country, but it's an entity. Okay, and then the Saudi Air Force.
Oh, well, awesome.
Yeah, one of the few people I know that had 3 security clearances at one time from 3 different companies, 3 different countries.
Yeah.
Top secret or above in 3 different countries.
So, what compelled you to live in Saudi and uproot your whole family? We were young at that time, and you uprooted all of us. You moved us to Saudi. Like, what?
Oh, it was.
What was
it
that
was
made
purely,
that decision?
It was purely financial.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about that. I mean, once I saw how they were living in Saudi, I wasn't worried about you guys being there.
Okay.
You know, at first I went there kind of expecting to quit. You know, if it was going to be too dangerous for you guys to be there.
Yeah.
But they had it. Boeing had it under control, and they had good people, and I enjoyed my time working there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was, as a matter of fact, we have a Facebook group, and most of the people say it was some of the best times of their life. Well, they'd pay us to go on vacation every 6 months.
Yeah.
And we had to be out of the country for a week.
So why was that? What was that? Why did we?
The Saudis give you what's called an agama. It's a work permit.
Okay.
Okay, kind of like a green card, I guess it would be.
Okay.
They give me a work permit, but that has to be refreshed every 6 months. And you have to be out of the country for 7 days.
Oh.
I don't know why.
Interesting.
That was just their rule. At the time, it may not even be that way anymore.
Yeah.
Places changed a lot.
Yeah.
But because of that, we were required to take vacations. Therefore, part of the incentives were the company paid our vacations.
So they paid the whole vacation?
Well, they would pay the airfare from London to Riyadh.
Okay.
Okay, every 6 months.
Okay.
Okay, so you would they'd figure out, okay, it costs X dollars to fly.
Why London?
I
Just
guess
the way
that
they
was,
picked? Yeah.
that was in the contract,
Okay.
Riyadh to London. And then once every 12 months, on the 12-month rotation, they'd send you all the way back to your home of record.
Okay.
Which was, in this case, it was Tucson the second time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Oklahoma
Fairfield the first time.
Oh, Fairfield the first time, okay.
Yeah, we were in California. Your mom was helping, her mom got sick.
Okay.
And we left Oklahoma and went to, I was already out of the military.
Okay.
Went to California to help her mom.
Uh-huh.
And that's when I just took a job at a hardware store running the electrical department because that was fast. I could get something quick.
Yeah.
I was talking to a couple companies in San Francisco that were going to hire me. They wanted me to do the baggage control system at the new San Francisco airport.
Oh.
But right then is when the Saudi job hit. So I had to take one or the other. I ran into my old commander.
Yeah.
In the hardware store where I worked.
Okay.
He came in and can I help you? And he, what are you doing here? We need you over there.
Yeah.
So he was going to send me on to Hawaii first. I wasn't real bummed about that.
No.
Yeah, Barber's Point, which I mistakenly thought was California. Then I got home and looked it up. I'm like, I'm going to Hawaii. That'll work. And my sister Pam still lived there.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so I was like, okay, cool. Then he said, oh, that program fell apart. We need you over in Saudi. And I'd been in Saudi on and off since 1982.
Yeah.
I watched that country grow up, and I love that climate. And, there was a lot of bads to the goods.
Yeah.
But, I focused on the goods.
So overall, it was a good, well, you bet you and Mom had a
good
talk
experience
about it. Yeah, a good experience. And
yeah,
I had a good, as a child growing up in Saudi, I have a good experience and good memories of it. And, I enjoyed those vacations. I didn't realize it at the time how
you took
amazing that
once in a
was.
lifetime vacations every 6 months.
And a lot of the other,
because we were already on the other side of the world. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Yeah, you're right. And I see one of my chickens in the other yard chasing a butterfly. See him out there? He's behind this little tree. Darn chicken.
Don't you feed those things?
No, that's Lollipop. He's out there.
Oh, okay.
Lollipop doll, where's Betty? No, chicken mom. Anyway, as a child, it was a good experience, and I forgot what I was talking about.
You were well protected. We lived among ourselves. We didn't live bad. We had pools everywhere.
Yeah, we lived on a compound, an American compound.
Yeah, everything was provided. At no cost,
including
and the schools were excellent, excellent. And if they got older and they couldn't go to the Saudi school, they would go to boarding schools, and a whole bunch of them went in Switzerland.
Wow!
Now a lot of those kids have gone on in the State Department and
done exceptional things.
Yeah, they really have.
Yeah,
because that was part of their upbringing.
Yeah,
and you guys, I remember you were killing it in the States.
Yeah.
And then we went back there, and you guys were starting to struggle to make C's.
Yeah.
And when we came back again,
we were killing
the kids. You were so far ahead of the kids in your.
Couple of years ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were bored for a while when we first got back.
Yeah.
Because the kids were dumb, according to.
Pretty much till high school.
The sister. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your brother. So it's it was excellent education. We got all these vacations.
Yeah.
Like I said, because we were in the other side of the world, we could go to Egypt in an hour and a half.
Wow.
Flight.
Yeah.
That cost nothing.
That's true. Yep.
You had to leave the country on their airline, and you had to return to the country on their airline, but you didn't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
So normally people would fly to the nearest port,
Yeah.
you know, and a lot of people flew to Dubai all the time. We went to Dubai before it was all built up like it
Oh,
was.
wow,
Oh,
yeah.
it was a sleepy little beach town.
Yeah.
You know, it was pretty cool. Little Chicago beach hotel. You know, it was $28 a night or something. You know, and it was nice.
Yeah.
And then they tore that down right where they built that big building that looks like a sail. If I went to Dubai now, I'd be blown away. I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Even Riyadh, I mean, they grow exponentially. You know, your petrodollars at work.
How long has it been since you've been to Saudi Arabia?
We left in late '99, so it's been almost 24 years.
Wow.
Since we left Saudi. That's a long time.
That is a long time.
Yeah, we're getting old.
And I got all that under my belt like before I was 11. I think 11 is the age I remember that I got settled in the States.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we moved to Missouri in the year 2000. And then we stayed there until I graduated. So.
Yeah, and and then I taught school. I actually had 2 teaching jobs. I don't know if you knew that. The one teaching job when we first got here, I was the electronics teacher for the vocational school.
Okay.
Up in Eolia.
I remember that.
And then, and I tried that for 1 year, and I don't have the temperament.
Yeah.
To be a public school teacher, especially when I was doing instruction in the military.
Yeah.
Where I could just, you know, drop and give me 20 maggot, you know.
Yeah.
That ain't gonna go. Yeah, so it wasn't a real
Even
good
back
mix.
in that time, yeah.
I got through the whole year without strangling anybody.
Good.
So it was good. But I also taught a telecommunications class at St. Charles Community College.
Yes.
I don't know. Oh, you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember that, yeah.
Okay. And then that was more industry based. That was cool.
Yeah, and people wanted to like really be
they
there.
were selected
order,
to be there. It was AT&T. So if I, you know, the only thing they didn't like is I passed too many of the students.
Oh.
They sent so many and they had so many openings.
Oh.
And then they expected me, they didn't bother to tell me this at the time, but they expected me to weed out a few.
Oh.
But I had a great class, man.
Yeah.
We got way ahead of the book.
Yeah.
And they all scored really well.
Yeah.
And then the company had to decide who to hire or make some more spots or yeah. So they weren't real happy with me. They didn't ask me to teach it again. But corporations.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
But anyway, so then I got on with the railroad, electronics, radio, command and control. Same thing I did in AWACS.
Yeah.
Exact. I was just command and controlling trains instead of command and controlling battles.
Are they similar?
Oh yeah, it was the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like guy sits here, talks in the microphone. You got to put it on them, you know, put it on whatever transmission media you use, download it, and have it come out the radio here. So they're talking on the radio 2,000 miles away. It sounds like he's in the next room.
Yeah.
You know, and that's that's a highly simplified, but that's basically what I did.
Yeah.
And then the computer networks and stuff that were associated with it.
And all that stuff's really needed. There's not many people who know how to do that or can do it efficiently.
Not a real small segment. But
yeah.
The AWACS people were a real small group.
Yeah.
We were highly sought. Yeah. After we left AWACS, people were like, because we had tough missions. We worked our butt off. A lot of people relaxed in the military or talked about how much poker they played or whatever.
Yeah.
We were busy, man.
Yeah.
That we were the busiest, the most highly tasked unit in the Air Force.
Wow.
For years. Yeah. I went a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Your poor mama.
Yeah.
Yeah. When she was pregnant with Paul, I was gone almost that whole year.
Wow.
And yes, he was mine. Okay. He couldn't deny that. It looks just like him.
He really does. Yeah, he really does.
But, I mean, I would be gone, you know, and I'd show up, and then a week or two, they'd send me somewhere else.
I'm sure we have a lot of military wives here that experience the same thing.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah. I was on
it's definitely a sacrifice.
Quick reaction force. Matter of fact, one time in Oklahoma, you were young, and no, you weren't born yet. That's right.
It was just Paul?
Yeah, it was Paul was real little. And Mama we were painting the living room at the house, and Mama went to the hardware store to get some more paint. When she came back, I was gone.
Oh, wow.
I had to react that fast. Yeah.
Man.
So I just left her a note, call you when I can.
Wow.
Yeah. That was the Beirut bombing. Grenada, all of that happened. But I mean, it was just one thing after another after another. The
Right,
AWACS,
right.
the AWACS, they had to have it there to control the battle,
Right.
so it was always there first.
Yeah.
And, it
And that's
was,
part of the job is
yeah,
things first.
and
yeah.
I had a lot of personal sacrifices for my family. You know, I was never really in that much danger,
That's good.
which is good. I mean,
Yeah.
there was always a chance.
Yeah.
But several people have asked me what I want to join the service. What should I do? You know, and their mothers are always like, I don't want him to go.
Right.
Yeah. So I said, just associate yourself with the most expensive system you can, and they're not going to let that get hit. That AWACS, there was no way they were going to let that get hit. So
Yeah.
we do all the stuff from back here.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was involved in all kinds of major battles, but never
In your
never
like,
at the front.
That's
No, I was
awesome.
always on the other side of the data link.
yeah, which is
But-
just as important.
But
you
we
know,
data
yeah.
linked Navy SEALs on special missions. We data linked with the Coast Guard, which was one of my favorite. The Coast Guard, if I did this again, I might join the Coast Guard instead.
Yeah?
Because I love being at sea, and the Coast Guard mission is highly misunderstood.
Yeah.
I mean, the customs work they do, the drug work. We had that one plane. We followed this plane. Okay, I'll tell
Okay.
you the story.
All right.
All right. So I was flying with the plane. I didn't usually, but I was flying with the plane this day because they had a computer problem
Okay.
that I couldn't find on the ground. So I went with them to find it, and I had already found it and fixed it. And we were flying, and all of a sudden one of the guys in the back said, "Hey, get on headset." We got on the headset, and the customs was chasing an airplane that had come out of Mexican space, and we were in San Diego. I was at
Oh, wow.
Miramar. Yeah. And they had this plane that they thought was carrying drugs, and they
Okay.
had a helicopter following it. So we were involved in the data link and all that, and we ended up getting video from the helicopter, and you could see it flying. And then it came real low, and the door opened, and the guy jumped out. And
Yeah.
we didn't see that until later, but we heard it, okay, we're coming up on the, wait a minute, doors up. He jumped out. The son of a gun jumped out.
Wow.
And so we all like, what? And then later we saw all the videos and everything of it, but it was
They
it
got
was
some
funny.
action, yeah.
Yeah, and then the plane was flying with no pilot towards San Diego,
Oh man.
and it was very low when he jumped out. But
Right.
it didn't crash. It kind of recovered, and it started.
Boy.
So it was flying at like 1,500 feet or something towards Ocean Beach, towards San Diego, and they were getting ready to pull a couple of fighters out of Miramar to shoot it down when it hit the water.
Oh.
It was slowly degrading.
Yeah.
And finally it hit the water probably a mile or two off of San Diego.
Wow.
But, yeah, that was, and that was a Coast Guard, and that was some of the missions I got involved in.
Yeah.
So I got to see a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff that the press, never happened.
Right.
Yeah. But I got to see, it was on the other end of a lot of pretty exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was cool. And having a high security clearance, of course, I'd get all the good stuff to
Yeah.
read,
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And get know the inside.
it was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was cool. That was one of the good jobs. Being in the military was tough, though. That's ultimately why I ended up getting out.
Yeah.
It was just too tough, too hard on us.
Yeah. After 22 years of
And
it,
it took water. I mean,
Do it.
this stuff.
Montana water.
Montana treasure. This is the stuff. Huckleberry. I'm in a Huckleberry High.
He is in a Huckleberry High. Everything's having his Huckleberry.
Mm-hmm.
We got Huckleberry pie filling and made a cobbler.
Made her.
Later.
Yeah, that was required.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
All right,
questions.
I guess we'll get
Sorry.
to the questions. Well, I'm going to stop though and I need some coffee. So I'm going to take
Okay.
a coffee break and then we'll
it's
come
funny
back.
you should say that. Okay, go ahead.
All right. Take a coffee break.
I'm always in video, having to switch to photo.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And you usually hear me going, what the? What? This phone? I can't
Yeah.
figure this damn thing.
Grandparents and technology.
And I worked in technology my whole life. That's what gets me. I've just done a total flush,
Yeah, and it's all different, really. Like, it just, I don't know, it feels like it takes me forever to, like, learn new.
Well, I'm easily frustrated. So if it's, steps and steps long, it'll lose me in the process.
Right,
I
it
lose
is.
interest in one
Yeah, you got to do, like, small things at a time.
Your coffee. Ever since high school, really.
Yeah.
You have been drinking a lot of coffee,
Yeah.
right?
I picked it up mostly like once I started working in the industry, cooking and stuff, and everybody always had coffee or cigarettes or both.
Yeah,
and I don't smoke, so I always did coffee.
Yeah, well, caffeine. Speaking of caffeine addiction, there's your new coffee cup.
Holy moly!
Yeah, let's get these out of the way. You can see that thing.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know how big it is. It doesn't say, but that's a cup of coffee.
You think it's a whole pot worth?
Well, I don't know. What do you got there? Pour that in there. See what you got.
All right, so this is a full cup of coffee. Oh,
a quarter?
A little less.
Yeah, maybe a quarter, and that's the skinny side of the glass.
Oh, Dad.
So it's gonna...
This is perfect.
Uh-huh. It's you.
I'm Mama Baird, and welcome to the channel.
I couldn't walk by that. I saw that, and I'm like, oh, I know who's addicted to coffee.
I can't believe I haven't seen it before.
I'm a sugar addict. You're a caffeine addict.
Ah.
And it's okay. Oh, there you go.
It's perfect.
Yeah, see? Perfect.
Okay. All
It's
right.
big enough you won't knock it over.
Thank you, Dad. I love it.
Yeah.
You guys are going to see it from on the channel from now on. I'll be like, where's my coffee cup? I probably won't lose it. Hey.
And when you finally can't drink coffee anymore, you can fill it up with stuff.
Yeah, there we go. I wonder if I can put it in it probably fits in the microwave too.
Put the dirt in it like my mom did. You remember that?
Oh, yes.
We were visiting my mother who lived in Nevada, and we were on one of our trips home. We didn't take the trip home very often, but she had a flower pot sitting in the middle of the table from the beginning of the meal.
Uh-huh.
And then she said, at the end of the meal, she said, when everyone was gathering for dessert, she said, well, I got something to show you guys that, the doctor tells me, I really need a lot of minerals and whatnot, and because of her condition, she couldn't take the pills. So she said, so she eats dirt. And she reached into the flower pot and grabbed a big old chunk of what looked like dirt. And all of us were like, ew, gross.
I remember it. I was just like, Dad, my grandma gone crazy.
Yeah. Did she just eat dirt? Yeah. Yeah. Runs in the family. Mama's getting old.
Yeah.
But she had filled it up with this artificial dirt you make out of Oreos.
Yes.
Yeah. And she had it set up the whole time. That's the Van Still side of the family.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's
just, they are crazy. The Dutch side of the family is just so funny. Yeah. So crazy. Those people growing up with some of the old classics, We only have one of my mother's generation left. That's Aunt Grace.
Yeah.
She's 95 now.
Wow.
And this is a woman who had breast cancer at 75 and didn't take any treatment for it.
Aunt Grace?
Yeah.
Wow.
She's I call her a force of nature or amazing grace.
Yeah.
She's awesome. She does so much for other people. But she had breast cancer, which is prevalent in our family. And
your mom had it, right?
Yeah, my mom
Several
had it.
times, I think.
Yeah, she ended up dying of complications.
Did she? Okay.
Yeah. But she said at that time she was 75. And she saw how sick Mom was going through all the chemo and all that. And she said, no, I'm not going to diminish my quality of life at all.
Wow.
She said, you just make me comfortable and I'll take what's left. And about 6 or 7 years later, they said there was no trace of it.
Wow.
She just decided to and beat it.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's like that's the kind of determination is behind some of those people.
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't get it, but I mean,
you
some
did too,
people
Dad.
did.
Yeah.
Some of the family got it.
Well, it skips a generation. I feel like I'm a pretty determined person.
My baldness doesn't skip one, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm gonna outgrow mine. Yeah. Well,
okay, sorry.
Speaking of funny, that was one of the questions. Is what is the funniest thing I did as a kid, and do you feel like I've had my humor since I was a kid?
Oh yeah, you did all kinds. You always made remarks that were funny, and you were always trying to get the upper hand.
I remember the sweater too.
We had what?
Mr. Sweater.
Oh, Mr. Sweater. Yes, that was typical.
That was.
Wow, Mr. Sweater wants to go in the bath or something.
Yeah, it was like I got a gift and it was a sweater, and I was like, well, that's no fun. And then you were like, well, you could play with it. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play with the sweater. Hi, I'm Mr. Sweater.
Yeah.
And you and Mom just cracked up, and I was so mad because I'm like, I'm serious. You
Yeah.
know, but
Oh, no,
just
you
the
had
way
some
I
kind
did
of
it.
comeback that was pretty good. I
Yeah.
don't remember exactly what it was now, but no, you were good with the comebacks, and sometimes if I was stressed, you had to squelch those because you knew I was stressed out. It was not a time to play with Dad.
Yeah, yeah.
So yeah, a lot of times you didn't say it, but when you did say it, you had some good comebacks.
Yep, yeah, but I
it's in
remember
there.
discipline. I had to learn my moments the hard way. When to tell
Watching
Dad
your
something.
brother the hard way.
I did watch
you
Paul a
watched
lot.
your brother get in
Yeah.
trouble,
Well,
and then
and
you
I
said,
got-
"Well, I ain't gonna do that."
And then I would try a new thing, and I would either not get in trouble, or that also got me in trouble.
She was constantly pushing the envelopes. You know, kind of like a velociraptor checking the fences.
Yeah, doing a perimeter
Yeah,
check.
this was
Yeah,
Velociraptor is kind of a good
looking for
analogy.
weaknesses. You know.
Yeah, oh yeah, probe every spot, look for weaknesses.
Do you feel like I was like that my whole childhood?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chink in the armor.
Yeah.
Any chink in the armor. Yeah, we had a lot of fun with it because I was usually one step ahead of it.
Yes.
Because I was that way when I was a kid.
And it's made me, it's made me think outside of the box a lot. It's made, like, you challenged me to come up with something better. A lot of the time,
a lot of
you
the
know?
conformity that a lot of the people had didn't go through our generation.
Yeah.
Because we grew up in California in the 60s and 70s. I mean, the Beach Boys was a local band. You know, they were down from L.A. I mean, we saw them. You know, so, I mean, it was an awesome time to grow up. So we didn't get a lot of the worries. I mean, we're talking about parents that grew up during the Depression.
Yeah, right.
I mean,
right.
man.
And there's even
and
like,
our life was gravy compared to theirs.
It was.
And it's passing along, and that's theoretically that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah,
Make our life easier for our kids.
Yeah, and my life has been very easy compared to other people my age, I feel.
Yeah, as long as they don't take it for granted.
Correct.
You know.
And realize, and it took me a while to realize that I was fortunate in my childhood because I thought, oh, my dad's, mean, poor me, I've had such a rough life. And then I get to college and I listen to other people's stories and I'm like, oh man,
There's
I don't
some
know.
bad parenting out there.
I don't know how many times I think since I became an adult I've thanked my dad sometimes for the ways that he's raised me.
Yeah.
Either he didn't put something in my life or you made me think
something
outside the box.
I discouraged you from.
Yes.
Yeah, or something that. Yeah, I was constantly. Well, you remember in the bank that one time?
Yeah.
You were putting your check in the bank. And I think you were out of high school but not yet in college? Maybe?
No, I was still in high school because I was working at McDonald's and I worked at Jack in the Box.
Okay,
so
so you came down
a bank account for me, yeah.
Right, so you came down to see me or to have me go to the bank with you.
Yeah, you were teaching me how to deposit my check in the ATM because I remember it too.
Yeah.
We were waiting in line at the ATM.
Right, we were waiting in line and at that time I told her to save 15% of everything she made until life caught up with her to the point where she couldn't afford that, and then it would go down to 10, and if possible down to 5.
Mm-hmm.
But then by the time, time is an amazing thing. By the time you get 40 years down the road, it turned into some money.
Yeah.
And boy,
So
I wish I would have done more of my own. But
and I wish that would have stuck more. Like I remember that one time, but then we didn't really do much after that. And
well, anyway, you had a check, and I always tried to make them cognizant of money. So when we went to a restaurant, I would keep the check and I'd say, okay, what's the guess? Everyone had to guess how much they paid. And that was on purpose to let you see the value of the meal you just had.
Yeah.
And that, he doesn't do nothing for me. Well, you ate out 3 times last week or
right?
whatever,
Right.
Yeah. So,
and bringing
anyway, so I was always saying, okay, so you would guess what the amount was. And we'd play, and anybody might be closest. I mean, it wasn't just the parents. You guys were on it real quick.
Yeah.
You learned to look at the menus and figure out, per person.
The price. Like, he ordered the burger. I remember the burgers were,
whatever.
$8,
Yeah. Right. And so, say the bill was $40, and I'd always ask you guys, okay, what's the tip?
Mm-hmm.
And that was 15%. So I'd make you figure out 15% of $40, right? 4, 2, $6. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, you did it in line.
Yes.
You said, okay, I'm going to start the checking account and the savings account, and here's my check. And it was like, 504.17 or something,
Yeah.
And I said, okay, well, forget the change. What's the 15%? How much you going to put in the, you looked at it and you said, whatever the amount was,
Right.
$42 or something. And the woman behind us in line freaked out. She goes, "Did you just do that in your head?" Linda looked up like, "Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been doing that for years."
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be amazed what people are capable of.
Yeah, and that was like
if
really
they're pushed outside the box.
Before cell phones and stuff. Like I
Yeah.
didn't get a cell phone until I was like 17, I think. It's the first time I got
Yeah.
one. So
Yeah, I was early in the cell.
yeah, so that was I had to do
I
math
had a
from
bag
memory,
phone
yeah.
in my work truck. Remember the
Yeah.
old bag phone?
Yes.
I loved
Oh,
that thing,
geez.
man. I could go all
It
state
was
with that
heavy,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, I mean, it's changed a lot since then. But the fact that you could do that in your head,
Yeah.
and it's really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a simple operation. 10%, boom, drop the end off. But people are so bad in percents and fractions.
Yeah.
I was glad to see you teaching the kids fractions.
Yep.
Because when I taught at the vocational school, the wood shop guy and the construction guy both had terrible times teaching people how to
Wow.
use the tape measure.
Yeah.
Because
of
of the
fractions.
fractions.
Wow.
Yeah. And then, so I turned that around and I used the tape measure to teach you fractions.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. So, I mean, any problem like that, if you can, you turn the characteristics around to your benefit.
Right.
And then instead of being on a losing game, you're on a winning game.
Right.
And so you can't always do that.
No.
I mean, stuff happens. But usually, if you look at it from a different point of view, or you figure out, okay, that's a bummer, but how can that work for me?
Right.
Like yesterday, we
lesson
went to
learned?
the caves.
Yep.
Okay, caves were closed. We didn't know that. They
Yeah.
said they were open when we left. We got there, they were closed.
Yep.
So we went to someplace else.
Yeah.
And
that was a teaching moment for the kids as well, because they were looking forward to it. We drove all the way there, and they're like, and now we can't go. So that was like, well, this is when we take this opportunity, we do something else. We're still going to
Exactly.
have fun. We're still looking around, and that's good teaching moments. And, the kids are looking to see how we respond. If
Exactly.
we are like,
If
dang
we
it, this is
freak
for
out-
taking about
Mhm.
yes, if we were angry, if we, and
you're teaching. I didn't say a word. It was
Yeah.
like, okay.
And I felt frustrated and a little angry and stuff at that, because it was a long drive and stuff. But if you let that be your emotion, the kids are going to learn that that's how you react. And you got to be the stable one when the emotions are high, which is
Yeah, I like to
not
try to
always
keep an even keel.
Yeah.
And I always tried to help you with that.
Yeah.
Not to freak out,
Yes.
and that's why I had a problem with high school kids, is because of the drama.
Yeah.
I grew up with 5 older sisters.
Yeah.
I mean, drama central. My poor dad, I mean, my God, and my poor mom. But it was always the end of the world. Something was going to happen,
Yep.
And 2 weeks later, they couldn't even remember what they were upset about. And
Yeah.
that's what I told you, that giving your energy to a drama is just wasting it.
It is.
Because, I mean,
At any stage in your
almost
life.
all of it, almost every time, it means nothing later.
Yeah.
Sometimes, there are.
And it's hard in
There
the
are
moment.
things that
That's your
matter.
world. This is my life. It's over, but you
Yeah.
taught to, okay,
It's
have
a
your
little bit selfish, and you get out of the selfish as you grow old.
and you can have a moment of being upset of what's going on, but then get over it and don't let it
Right.
defeat you, and let it be your whole being or your whole
Right.
day.
Right, and you try your best to overcome it, and if you can't, well, you learn from it and move on.
Yeah.
Because if you don't learn your lesson, you'll get it again.
Yes. Keep
And it'll
learning
be
lessons
worse
until
and
you
worse.
learn it.
That's the problem with erasing history.
Yeah.
People that think they're doing a good job by erasing history because something that was done there is no longer tasteful now,
Mm-hmm.
is no longer done now, you don't erase history or you're going to repeat it.
Right.
If the history is repulsive, all the better.
Yeah.
Because you will not repeat it.
Right.
It will irritate you and you'll say, whatever I do, and that's what I did. I said, whatever I do, I'm not going to do this, and this. Because that was really negatively significant
Right.
to me, So, that and the tools. The tools that the kids use to get what they want. They manipulate, and they might start with please and, turn cute to full, and then,
Yep.
and then, then they'll start getting upset, then they'll throw a huge fit, and then it just escalates.
Yep, until they respond the way that you want them. They
right,
want
until
you to
they
respond.
get what they want from you.
Yeah.
Right, and that's why I told you, you pick which tools you want to work, and you're
Yes.
very good at that.
Yeah.
Your kids come up and they, if they follow the rules that you taught me, that cup is you. That cup is her, and that it is.
I love it. I like how to hold this. Oh, it's a book stand and a coffee cup. I love it.
Your little floater island in there. You float your donut in there. But anyway, so I taught you, as well as I could, the steps that they would go through.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of that in the military. As I get trained into being a non-commissioned officer.
Yeah.
Taking charge of troops. They will do this and they will do that and they will do this and, try to get you to do what they want.
Yeah, find the weakest link. The same thing,
right.
and it's...
The military, the discipline was pretty absolute, but...
Yeah,
it's
and I'm trying to
harder.
find that balance,
well, I was a little hard on you guys because I was military.
Right. And I still...
and I've learned a lot better than that now.
Yeah. And that's one of the things, we have great relationship now because we both, have
We're
grown.
equals.
And yeah, we are.
Yeah.
You don't treat me like a child. I am your
adult
child.
Yeah.
Yes. And that's great to have. Not everybody...
Well, I like you better than I like most adults.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. You're all right.
Yeah,
All
I have my moments.
I guess I'll keep you.
You stuck with me now? Don't say that. I'll pull an RV up in the front.
Oh boy.
I want to live. I want to live long enough to be a burden to my children.
Well,
absolutely.
Well, one of the things here is, do you like to cook? And did you cook when I grew up? So that answer is going to see if you're going to pull that RV up. You better answer.
Yeah, I like to cook. I didn't do a lot of it because your mother was a killer cook.
Yeah.
Okay, but barbecues, soups. Remember my dump stew?
Yes.
It'd be like, man, it's cold outside, and I'd be like, all right, let's hit the freezer. I'd be like, all right, what do we got?
Yep.
Hey guys, so unfortunately, I recorded on my phone and my phone quit recording on me and I didn't realize it, and we had finished the rest of the interview without it being recorded, which is a real shame because that was a really fun interview. I had a lot of good memories with my dad. We mostly talked about how he would throw together a big roaster pan full of beef stew just from a whole bunch of canned goods, and we would eat off that for a couple of days. We would make mini pizzas. That's something that he learned from his mom. And one of the questions was, what was his favorite meal or his meal growing up? And it was tuna casserole. He said when he got back from the military, his mom said she'd fix him anything he'd want, and he wanted tuna casserole because it's just sometimes the classics that just really stick with you. So we talked about cooking and how I did not learn any of my cooking skills from him. That's mostly just what I have learned out in the industry. And we talked about what makes us proud of each other. And he was saying just how I've always made him proud, how I'm resourceful and I'm ambitious and I just go for what I want. And he's really proud to see me be a good mom and to be able to have happy kids. And he thinks I'm doing a fantastic job. And the thing that I am proud about for my dad is that he has learned to grow, to self-evaluate. He was pretty strict growing up, not as bad as some, but he was a no-nonsense kind of guy and hard to talk to and relate to, and that's something that he has worked on a lot, and he's not above learning that he's human and figuring out his life and kind of relearning who he is since he's retired, and I'm super proud of him for being able to do that. That's not easy to do, and Dad and I have some really great conversations and we have a really great relationship, and I'm so thankful for that. We were able to film an outro, so I'm gonna go ahead and let my prior self take it from here.
Well, Dad, that is all the questions. Thanks everybody for asking those questions on the community tab post thing that I posted earlier. Appreciate it. He's headed back to Missouri tonight, so.
Oh, I'm going to Reno, baby.
Oh, that's right. He's he's going to Reno for a family reunion, kind of.
My stepfather's turning 90 years old.
Wow.
Dude looks good, man.
Yeah.
He looks good for 90.
Yeah.
He does. But anyway, he when Mom passed, some of the family poo-pooed him away because he was stepfather.
Right.
But none of them actually lived with him like I did.
Yeah.
Oh, I hated his guts at the time, and now I realize how good he was for me.
How long has he been your stepdad?
I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah. That's why I joined the military.
Yeah.
Which was a good move, but for the wrong reasons. But anyway, we get along good now.
Good.
He's a pretty good guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's turning into a mini family reunion.
That's
we got
awesome.
people flying in from all over. And
Yeah, and you get here probably about once a year. You come visit since I moved
try.
out here. Yeah, and
I try. I'm busy. I don't
Yeah.
know how I ever had time to work. I'm so busy.
Yeah. Well, that's great though.
When did I go to work? Yeah. I
All right.
like old cars.
Yes, you collect them in the yard.
That's why
And
Montana's
boats now,
so
right?
dangerous for me. Yeah, actually, yeah. Boats and cars both.
Yeah. Well, thanks for tuning in, guys, and meeting my dad and hearing some stories about me and my childhood.
Got any questions? Let me know.
Yeah.
We'll get back to you eventually.
Yeah, he's part of my Facebook group as well. So, yeah, we can answer any questions. No embarrassing stories this round, so maybe next time.
Well, I've come out of hiding a little bit, so
Yeah,
now
yeah.
I'm known.
Yeah, add the
Okay.
Kahlua to him and he'll add them. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching, guys. We'll catch you next time on Mama Birds.
Hola.
Okay. Hola.
Hola.
Ah.
Hola.